Hey Queens, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Rebecca Barr, aka the Femalepreneur Coach. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur and also business growth and money mindset mentor for women in business. And I'm super excited that you're here. I'm also an author of the best-selling money playbook, The Good Girl's Guide to Money Making. So I'm a bit of an authority when it comes to money, but I've also had a bit of a journey myself with finances. I've been made homeless twice when I was young. I was a self-made millionaire. I essentially self-sabotaged all of my success, and then I have done the work and then rebuilt that wealth, which is why I feel like I am such an expert when it comes to money, because it has just consumed me for all of my 41 years. And I now have committed to my life's work to supporting more women and getting more incredible heart-led women financially empowered so that we can all make the world a better place. So I'm super excited to share with you today the 4 easy steps that I think that anybody needs to take if they are in a place right now where they are feeling really worried about money, really stuck around their finances, maybe caught up in a bit of a toxic cycle or loop where they kind of have money, then have no money, like feast and famine cycles in your business. That entrepreneurial roller coaster is real, right? But the reality is, no matter what your current financial situation is, what you focus on expands. So if you are really like just constantly worried, anxious, even when you have money, it doesn't necessarily solve the problem or make those feelings go away until you can practically and sensibly move through them. Then it's just going to continue, right? Energy flows where focus goes. So the more you focus on the problem rather than the solution, the more that the problem is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I know what it's like to be really in like a stuck state and feeling like the walls are closing in on you and there's just no way out. But there always is. Like, money is energy, and there is always a way, ladies. Like, we are so much more resourceful and powerful than we realize. So hopefully this video today will speak to you if perhaps maybe 2023 wasn't your year, and along with the emotional roller coasters that 2023 had, a lot of that impacted people's finances, and things that were working previously in their businesses are no longer working as well. Definitely for me, some of the energy had dissipated from my containers, my offers, and it was just a case of pivoting and moving forwards and working the steps, right? Because when things aren't working, it's never anything about you, your self-worth, your capability, your potential. It's just something that needs to be looked at and shifted. So the first step, if you are really worried about money right now, and I know what it's like when somebody, equally, I just want to caveat this, when I've listened to gurus and money mindset mentors that just talk about, staying positive and imagining as if it's already happened. That's really hard to do when you're getting constant phone notifications saying that you're overdrawn or that payments due, or people chasing you, or letters in the mail. Like, when the very real reality of your situation is constantly like hitting you in the face, it is very difficult to act as if you've already got this money. And actually, I think it's a mix of the practical steps that you need to take and also the spiritual as well. So the first thing is to essentially acknowledge and vocalize the fears that you currently have, because they're valid, right? Especially if your bank balance is not where you want it to be right now, and you've maybe got bills and things mounting up. Like, let's talk about the elephant in the room, because you essentially take away its power when you have everything stuck in your head and you're going around in circles on your own. It feels you're very much stuck in the emotion of that situation. You're replaying the worst case scenario maybe that's happened in the past, or you're preempting a future that hasn't even begun yet. And your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is projection or fear, or, and what isn't actually a reality right now. So it's going to give you the same level of emotions as if those things have already happened. You're going to feel really stressed out. You're going to feel really anxious, really overwhelmed, really worried, maybe really emotional and upset, shame, guilt. All of these things come up around debt and not being able to manage your money. So let's take away some of that power by removing it from your head and actually put it down on paper. Because what happens is sometimes it feels a lot in your body, but actually when you get it down on paper, you're like, actually, do you know what? That's not that bad. In the grand scheme of things, all I need is maybe a few $1,000s, and that's going to, or pounds, and that's going to completely change my life right now. That's going to give me some breathing space. That's going to help me to pay off what I owe, and then get me in a really good place. Well, the reality is, like, a few £1,000 it might feel like a lot right now. Don't get me wrong. I know what it's like when you've literally got nothing. A few £1,000s feels like £1,000,000, and it feels like a lottery win at that point, because you just can't see the wood for the trees and where that money might come from. But when you actually get it down on paper and you give it the perspective and the space that it needs, actually, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that is such a small drop in the ocean of what is available to you and what is circulating in your energy, particularly if you are a business owner. You know, that's probably like maybe one client, maybe two clients. You could absolutely, you know, figure that out very quickly, but get it down on paper first. Let's really verbalize and vocalize the elephant in the room, the fears that are running the show right now. Because again, you tend to run away with yourself, and you might be like, oh my God, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to, you know, let down my kids. I'm going to, you know, let down my family. And actually, when you get that down on paper, it's much easier to look at it without that emotional, without that emotion attached, and be objective and say, actually, is that true? Is that true? Will I actually lose my house? Will my family allow me to be sleeping on the streets? Will I not be able to figure this out? Am I not more powerful than that? And it just starts to allow some of that energy to dissipate from the worry and the fear. But it also, you know, just calls it out. And, you know, it's better out than in, these things. The next step is to move that energy, move that stuck energy and emotion, and and remove the emotion that's currently stuck in your body, but also the emotional charge that you're giving money right now over yourself, your happiness, your peace, and your life. Like at the end of the day, money is just money. It's just energy. It's responding to your energy and what you feel safe and worthy of receiving. It doesn't have an agenda. It doesn't care if you're a good person. It doesn't care if you're a bad person. You know, it's just going where it's welcome and where it is attracted, where it feels energized to. So, or a vibrational match to. So the more that you have this resentment, this negativity, these really low vibrational frequency emotions attached to money, the more that you're just going to attract the same of that. But also, it doesn't feel good. It's not good for your body. It's not good for your health to have it stuck inside you, essentially. So I like to use 3 different techniques with my clients. One is EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, and or essentially tapping. I've got another video that I will link here below that you can go back to, and I'll go through the full cycle. But essentially, it acts in the same way as acupuncture. Sorry, it taps on the meridian points, energetic meridian points in our body, and it starts to disperse some of that trapped energy, not only by verbalizing what it is that we're worried about, but also then tapping in the positive affirmations that will actually be more self-serving. Because continually feeling like a victim of your circumstances, feeling like the world is happening to you, that's not an empowered state to actually go and do anything about your current situation. It just keeps you stuck, and it is a breeding ground for more of the same. So when you're feeling, that's why that expression always comes from, when it rains, it pours. It's so true, because when you're feeling like everything is on top of you, your brain will never make you a liar. It will always look for confirmation of your belief system. It's part of your reticular activating system. So it will continue to just give you more and more evidence of that to be true. So the more that we can start to shift some of this emotional charge, become more objective and more neutral to our current circumstances, the more that we can pull ourselves up and out of the victim mindset, and the more that we can actually start thinking about how the hell we're going to change this situation, because you absolutely can. So as I said, EFT is a really powerful way of doing that, and essentially it's just like tapping on your meridian points in your body, tapping out the fear. So i.e., even though I'm feeling really overwhelmed with money right now and it feels like everything is just on top of me, I still totally love and accept myself. I know that I can absolutely turn my situation around. I know that I am worthy of abundance. I know that I am able to help and serve more clients. I know that I can take the steps that I need to take. I'm ready to get more visible. I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to do what I need to in order to change my situation. And I totally love and accept myself. And you can go around all of the points. As I said, I'll link the other video that will be really beneficial for you in that. Because again, it's about removing your self-worth from your current financial situation. Like, even as a money mindset mentor, even as a really successful woman in business, like, I've also self-sabotaged. I've also been at my lowest points. I've also mismanaged money. I've also made bad investments. I've also overspent and all of the things. And with money mindset work, the work is never done. With every new level of income, with every new situation around money, it's definitely for me, moving to entrepreneurship, moving into motherhood, and then suddenly not being able to use so much push energy to get a result, not being able to work every hour of the day, brought up some stuff around letting go, being supported, not being in control, not being able to physically sort my situation out by working harder. It's like I had to get creative, I had to lean back, I had to think bigger, I had to trust more. And so it's just a continual evolution, your relationship with money, like any other relationship in your life. There's also the option to breathe into wherever you're feeling that tension in your body. So maybe it feels like a pit in your stomach right now. Maybe it feels like your chest is really tight. Maybe you have like a banging sense, like a sensation in your head that's really like feeling stressful. Maybe it's somewhere else in your body, but you can actually put your hand wherever that is feeling, wherever you're feeling that tension and that stuck energy, and just breathe into it. And if it's in your stomach, really allow your stomach to expand as you breathe deeply into that space, and imagine a white light coming down and healing that dark, stuck, trapped, dense energy that's there right now, and allow it to dissipate. Allow yourself to feel better, because once you get into that better feeling state, not only are you going to attract things that are more at a vibrational match, i.e. a better outcome, you're also going to be able to, like I say, be more objective and get into a more solutions-based mindset around what it is that you need to do to get yourself out of the situation. And equally, you might just want to move. So I am a big fan of listening to uplifting music, like having a bit of a dance party in the kitchen with the kids, being in the car, like singing a power ballad, jumping around, exercise, go for a walk, get out in nature, whatever it is, like you need to move this energy out of your body. It is not helping or serving you in any way right now. So let's let it go and let's move. The next step is writing everything down. So again, when we feel like we've got the weight of the world on our shoulders, the walls are closing in, it's so many things, we can really catastrophize our current situation. And actually, maybe it's not that many. And what I have learned over the years, particularly as a business owner, is that there is always a way to figure things out. People want to get paid, right? So even if there is a hard deadline approaching and you feel like, I am not going to make this deadline, first of all, it's never over till it's over. But equally, you can actually have a conversation with somebody and say, look, I am not going to make that deadline. Like full transparency, I am not going to make that deadline. But what I can do is this and this. Maybe move the deadline, maybe make a part payment. Like there's always a solution and a workaround to any problem. People will wait when they know that the money's coming. So it's about like getting really practical and honest, not hiding, not avoiding people. If it's credit card companies, again, there might be fees that they can waive. They might be able to put payments on hold. There's so many things that are available to you. No one wins if your life literally implodes and you can't meet any of your financial obligations. Sometimes it's just about having a conversation. And equally, that might be to your wider community, family, circles, and getting really creative. And that kind of takes me on to the next step, is literally write everything down. Let's see how much money you actually need right now and in what time frame. So in the next week, how much money do you need? Where does it all come from? And you can absolutely do some reflection on this in the future as to see the patterns where perhaps you've maybe overinvested, overcommitted, self-sabotaged a little bit with your money, or you're not being realistic with yourself about the work and the money that it requires to run your business and live your life. But that's kind of for another day. But write everything down. Let's get really clear on the number, like how much do you need right now? And then the fourth step is to get creative with how that money could come to you. And what I want you to do is challenge yourself to write down at least 10 to 15 ways that you could make that money right now. And I love to do this work with my clients inside my Millionaire Mindset Bootcamp, because we activate the creative parts of their brain. And suddenly that, because what happens is you're typically working very much in the logical brain where it's like, well, I need a one-to-one client, or I need a this, and I don't have any leads coming through. Well, not only are we totally here for financial quantum leaps and miracles, and you never know who's been watching and waiting for the right time. So there could be some practical things that you could do around your marketing messaging, sales, getting more visible, making invitations, being more proactive, following up on leads in your business to generate quick cash. But also, let's think bigger than that. There's probably other things that you could do. Maybe you could apply for a credit card. Maybe you could ask for a payment hold. Maybe you could sell some things in your house. Maybe you could offer people to support them in different ways than you do currently, and make people an invitation to work with you. Maybe you could ask family or friends. Like, there's always so many different ways. Maybe you could sell a kidney. Like, we've had that come up in the boot camp before. And there's always so many different ways to, you know, generate that money that you aren't even tapping into right now. I absolutely guarantee that there are countless ways that money could come to you. You know, you could get a random check in the mail, you could win something, you could, you know, all of this good karma that inevitably you've been putting out into the world in your heart-led business is going to come back to you one way or another. And sometimes it's just about being really clear around, this is what I need right now, this is what I desire, and I am open to creative ways in which that can come to me. So just to recap on those steps, it's to firstly acknowledge and vocalize the fear that you have, and that's okay. Number 2 is to move the stuck energy and remove the emotional charge from that current situation around money. Number 3 is to get super clear on your numbers and write everything down and be honest, like what actually is a priority and what needs to be paid now, what can wait, what needs to be focused on, because energy flows where focus goes. And then number 4 is writing down and getting creative with the solutions and the ways in which that money could come to you, especially if you're an entrepreneur. There are countless ways that money could come to you. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode. If you've liked it and enjoyed it and you found it really useful, please either forward it on to a friend, like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if there is anything more that I can do to help you if you are currently feeling stuck around your money. And I'll also link the video to the EFT video as well.